And what if I told you that in less than 200 years, humanity could be living on 3 different planets in our solar system? That soon we might literally build new worlds, transform icy deserts into green oases, and protect our cosmic home with invisible shields in space. This isn't science fiction. This is planetary engineering, and it's closer to reality than you might imagine. Hello, cosmic explorers. Welcome back to Cosmic Frontiers. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and ambitious topics in modern science: how humanity is planning to reshape entire planets and secure our future in the cosmos. We'll discover the real plans to turn Mars into a second Earth, how we might tame the hell that is Venus, and the surprising projects to protect our home planet from cosmic threats. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some scientists believe that in the coming centuries, the question won't be, is there life on other planets, but rather, on which planet would you like to live? We're on an incredible journey towards 1,000 cosmic explorers, and every discovery we make together brings us closer to that goal. Imagine for a moment that you are architects, but not of houses or buildings. You are architects of entire worlds. That's exactly the job of scientists who study terraforming, the art and science of transforming hostile planets into new homes for humanity. And our first project is right there, shining like a red dot in the night sky. Mars. Mars today is an icy, deadly desert. The average temperature is -80 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide, and so thin that your blood would literally boil if you stepped on the surface without a spacesuit. But here's the fascinating part. Mars was once warm and wet. Billions of years ago, rivers flowed across its surface. Lakes existed in its craters, and perhaps even oceans covered its plains. What happened? Mars lost its protective magnetic field, and the solar wind stripped away its atmosphere grain by grain over millions of years. Now, imagine we have the power to reverse that process. It's like restoring an old house, but on a planetary scale. The visionary Carl Sagan was one of the first to seriously propose the terraforming of Mars in the 1970s. He suggested that we could release greenhouse gases into the Martian atmosphere to warm the planet. Since then, the plans have become much more sophisticated. Here's a real plan being considered by scientists. First, we need to thicken the atmosphere. How? One idea is to build automated factories that release superpotent greenhouse gases, like perfluorocarbons, into the Martian atmosphere. These gases are thousands of times more effective than CO2 at trapping heat. It's like putting a cosmic blanket on Mars. Slowly, the planet would begin to warm, and the dry ice at the poles would begin to sublimate, releasing more CO2 and creating a warming cycle. But wait, it gets better. Robert Zubrin, aerospace engineer and founder of the Mars Society, proposed something even more audacious. Giant orbital mirrors. Imagine structures the size of entire countries, made of ultralight materials, positioned in space at the L1 Lagrange point, between the Earth and the Sun. These would reflect additional sunlight onto Mars. It would be like having multiple suns illuminating the red planet simultaneously. And here's an idea that seems straight out of a superhero movie: bombarding Mars with ammonia-rich asteroids. Ammonia is a powerful greenhouse gas and also contains nitrogen, essential for a breathable atmosphere. It would be like giving the planet vitamin injections on a planetary scale. But you know what's even more incredible? Even without a fully transformed atmosphere, we could start growing plants on Mars much sooner. NASA scientists have discovered that some species of algae and lichens can survive in simulated Martian conditions. These small cosmic pioneers would begin the oxygenation process, just as the first plants did on Earth billions of years ago. Now, let me tell you about something even more ambitious, something that makes terraforming Mars seem like a backyard project: transforming Venus, our hellish neighbor, into a tropical paradise. Venus is what happens when the greenhouse effect goes completely out of control. With surface temperatures of 460 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, and an atmospheric pressure 90 times greater than Earth's, Venus is literally a hell. Its atmosphere is 96% carbon dioxide, with sulfuric acid clouds that would rain death on any life form we know. But here's the cosmic plot twist: Venus could be the most Earth-like planet in the entire solar system if we could solve a few small problems. Carl Sagan, again the visionary, proposed in the 1960s that we could introduce special algae into the Venusian atmosphere to consume CO2 and produce oxygen. While that specific idea proved impractical, it paved the way for much more fascinating concepts. One of the most elegant proposals comes from planetary scientist Jeffrey Landis. Floating cities in the clouds of Venus. At 50 kilometers altitude, conditions are surprisingly mild. Ambient temperature, Earth-like pressure, and natural protection from cosmic radiation. Imagine structures the size of entire cities, floating like giant balloons in the clouds of Venus, inhabited by millions of people. It would be like living in castles in the air, literally. But what if we really wanted to transform the surface? Astronaut and engineer Paul Birch proposed something so audacious it sounds like science fiction, using solar mirrors to shade Venus and cool its atmosphere until the CO2 solidifies and falls as dry iced snow. Then, we could literally vacuum up this cosmic snow and export it to other planets that need more atmosphere. It's recycling on a planetary scale. Another revolutionary idea involves what scientists call atmospheric sequestration. Imagine machines the size of mountains that literally suck the toxic atmosphere from Venus and convert it into useful materials. Carbon could become industrial diamond, sulfur could be used for fertilizers, and slowly, over thousands of years, we would reveal the surface of a new world. But before we move to other planets, perhaps we should focus on protecting our cosmic home. And this is where planetary engineering becomes even more impressive. The projects to defend Earth. Do you know that our star, the Sun, is getting brighter? It's not something you'd notice in a human lifetime, but every billion years, the Sun gets about 10% more luminous. In approximately 1 billion years, Earth will become too hot for life as we know it. But humanity doesn't intend to passively wait for this cosmic fate. Freeman Dyson, one of the most brilliant physicists of the 20th century, proposed a solution that seems straight out of science fiction. Solar shields. Imagine ultralight structures, made of materials thinner than human hair, positioned at the L1 Lagrange point, between the Earth and the Sun. These cosmic parasites would block exactly the right amount of sunlight to keep our planet at the ideal temperature. It would be like having an air conditioning control for the entire planet. But threats to Earth don't just come from the distant future. Asteroids and comets pose real and immediate dangers. The impact that extinguished the dinosaurs 65 million years ago happens, on average, every 100 million years. This means we have a real chance of facing this threat. The good news, we're preparing. NASA's DART mission, launched in 2021, proved that we can change the trajectory of asteroids. The concept is simple but elegant. Imagine a cosmic billiards game, where we use spacecraft as cues to change the direction of billiard balls, the size of mountains. The DART mission hit the asteroid Dimorphos and changed its orbit by 32 minutes, proof that we can defend our planet from cosmic impacts. But what if we wanted to go beyond defense and actually improve Earth? Enter geoengineering, one of the most controversial and fascinating areas of modern science. Scientists are seriously considering projects to reverse climate change through planetary scale interventions. One idea is the injection of stratospheric aerosols, basically mimicking what volcanoes do naturally. When Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1991, it injected so much material into the atmosphere that the global temperature dropped 0.5 degrees Celsius for 2 years. We could do this artificially, using special aircraft to release reflective particles into the stratosphere, creating a controlled global cooling effect. Another fascinating proposal involves marine cloud brightening. Robotic ships would traverse the oceans, spraying salt water into the air, creating whiter and more reflective clouds. It's like giving the planet a natural sunscreen. But perhaps the most ambitious proposal is direct carbon capture on an industrial scale. Imagine factories the size of cities that literally suck CO2 from the air and transform it into useful fuels or store it permanently underground. Some of these technologies already exist on a small scale, and companies like Climeworks are expanding rapidly. Now, let me share something that might completely change how you think about our cosmic future. Paul Davies, theoretical physicist and astrobiologist, argues that planetary engineering isn't just about survival, it's about evolution. He suggests that intelligent species eventually always modify their environments on a planetary scale. It's an inevitable evolutionary milestone, like the development of language or agriculture. This means that when we finally detect signs of extraterrestrial civilizations, one of the first pieces of evidence might be exactly this: artificially modified planets. atmospheres with naturally impossible compositions, orbital megastructures, or radiation patterns that could only come from deliberate engineering. Catherine Fries, astrophysicist at the University of Michigan, goes even further. She proposes that advanced civilizations could even modify stars. Imagine extracting material from a star to prolong its life, or reconfiguring entire stellar systems to maximize the habitable zone. That would be cosmic architecture in its grandest form. And here's something that will blow your minds. Some scientists believe that we could literally build planets from scratch. The concept of artificial planets, or ring worlds, massive structures that orbit stars, is no longer pure science fiction. Larry Niven popularized the idea in his novel Ringworld, but physicists like Freeman Dyson showed that such structures are theoretically possible with advanced materials. Imagine a ring around the Sun with the diameter of Earth's orbit. The inner surface would have the area of 3 million Earths. With appropriate rotation, centrifugal force would create artificial gravity, and we could literally have millions of worlds connected in a single megastructure. It would be the ultimate engineering project, transforming an entire solar system into a home for trillions of conscious beings. But even without reaching these extremes, humanity's near future as a multi-planetary species is becoming a reality. Elon Musk and SpaceX have concrete plans to establish a permanent colony on Mars by 2050. NASA plans a crewed mission to Mars in the 2030s, and private companies like Blue Origin are developing technologies for lunar mining and permanent space habitation. Jeff Bezos, founder of Blue Origin, envisions a future where trillions of people live in the solar system, with Earth preserved as a cosmic national park. It would be a complete reversal. Instead of occasional explorers leaving Earth, our planet would become a natural refuge, while most of humanity lives in built or terraformed worlds. And you know what's most impressive? None of this requires physics that we don't yet understand. We don't need to discover faster-than-light travel or infinite energy. All the technology needed to begin terraforming and planetary engineering already exists in primitive form or is actively being developed. It's a matter of scale, time, and collective determination. Michio Kaku, theoretical physicist and futurist, classifies civilizations into 3 types based on their energy use. A Type 1 civilization controls all the energy of its planet, Type 2 controls the energy of its star, and Type 3 controls the energy of its entire galaxy. According to his calculations, we are about 100 to 200 years away from becoming a Type 1 civilization. And when that happens, planetary engineering will become routine. So, cosmic explorers, we've just traveled through humanity's most ambitious plans to reshape the cosmos. We've discovered how Mars can become a second Earth through orbital mirrors and asteroid bombardment, how Venus could be transformed from hell to paradise through atmospheric sequestration and floating cities, and how we can protect our cosmic home with solar shields and planetary defenses. More than that, we've glimpsed a future where humanity not only survives, but thrives on a galactic scale. This leads us to a profound reflection on our place in the universe. Throughout human history, we have been a species limited to a single world, subject to the whims of natural forces beyond our control. But for the first time in Earth's 4.5 billion-year history, a species has developed not only consciousness but the technological capacity to literally redesign worlds. We are the first generation that can look at the stars not just with admiration, but with real construction plans. Perhaps this is our true cosmic mission, to bring consciousness, creativity, and life to corners of the universe that would otherwise remain forever sterile and silent. And that makes me wonder, if we can transform entire planets, what other cosmic frontiers await us? Will we be able to create artificial life? Will we be able to travel between the stars? Or perhaps the deepest question of all, when we become architects of worlds, will we still be human in the way we know ourselves today? Cosmic explorers, I want to hear from you. If you could choose to live on any terraformed planet, would it be Mars with its gigantic canyons and double moons, Venus with its floating cities in the clouds, or perhaps a space station orbiting Jupiter? Let me know in the comments where you'd like to build your new cosmic home and why. And since we're talking about the future, what mystery of the universe do you want me to talk about in the next video? Black holes that might be portals to other universes, the search for extraterrestrial life, or perhaps the craziest theories about time travel? Leave your suggestions in the comments. We're on an incredible journey towards 1,000 cosmic explorers. If this video expanded your horizons on what's possible in our universe, join our crew by clicking subscribe. Every new member brings us closer to our goal and strengthens our community of cosmic curious minds. Like this video if it made you dream of distant worlds, and share it with someone who is also fascinated by the infinite possibilities of the cosmos. In the next video, we'll explore something equally mind-blowing: how black holes might be the keys to understanding the fundamental nature of reality. Until then, keep looking up, keep questioning, and remember, we are all made of stardust, and perhaps our destiny is to consciously spread that dust throughout the galaxy. See you at the next cosmic frontier.